Hello and welcome to IB Bio 2.2 notes. So 2.2.1 polarity and hydrogen bonding in water molecule. So we know that water has a covalent bond between the two hydrogen and the one oxygen atom. So there's a covalent bond right here. And water is dipolar, meaning oxygen atom is more electronegative. So this atom is electronegative, so it has more of a negative charge. Hydrogen is less electronegative, so it has more of a positive charge. The polarity of water is the reason for its physical characteristics, which we will go into deeper. And the hydrogen bonds are between water molecules, so between the oxygen of one water molecule and the hydrogen of another water molecule, and they're responsible for cohesion and adhesion, and they're weak bonds. Hydrophilic, just basically a term meaning loving water, and hydrophobic means afraid of water. So the properties of water, we have cohesion, which is the tendency of water molecules to stick each other due to the hydrogen bonding between them. And this leads to some other characteristics. So it leads to higher surface tension, and it allows water to be pulled up from the roots to the leaves of plants, and it permits insects such as pollinators to walk on the surface of the water. We also have adhesion, which is the interaction of water molecules with other polar molecules. So an example could be why some water sticks to your glass, because they're both polar substances. So it could lead to capillary action generated by adhesive forces. So it just assists the pumping action of the heart to help move the blood inside the blood vessels. And the adhesion of water molecules to the cell wall of the xylem in plants helps water move against gravity upwards. And this is just an example of cohesion. So water molecules are sticking together, and adhesion, water molecules are sticking to a polar substance. So the properties of water, more properties. We have thermal properties, such as a high specific heat capacity and a high latent heat of vaporization. So specific heat capacity is the amount of heat that must be absorbed or released for 1 gram of a substance to change its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. The heat of vaporization is the amount of heat in 1 grams of a liquid absorbs to change its state from liquid to gas. So an example would be when water and sweat evaporates on the surface of our skin, it cools down its surface by taking away energy in the form of heat. And the high specific heat capacity of water makes aquatic ecosystems, more stable, as it takes a lot of energy to change the temperature of the water. So solvent properties. So water is known as the universal solvent, as it dissolves ionic and polar compounds. And it dissolves mineral ions in soils and transports them along the xylem vessels from roots to all other parts of the plants. And it's also in blood plasma, and it dissolves a range of solutes and gases due to its polarity. And water's versatility, so it's able to exist as a liquid, solid, and vapor, and it makes it universal solvent and medium for numerous biochemical reactions. So the modes of transport of biological molecules. So, as we said before, blood plasma transports materials such as glucose, oxygen, and many minerals. And water insoluble substances will be absorbed and transported via lymph vessels. So, these are the methods in which blood transports objects. So, glucose is soluble in water, so it gets dissolved in water and it's transported in the blood. Now, amino acids there's two types. There's negatively and positively charged. So most of them are soluble in water, but their solubility depends on their size and the R group. So if you have a hydrophilic R group, you'll be easily dissolved in water since you're water loving. And if amino acids contain a hydrophobic R group, they will not be easily dissolved in water and they will be transported in lower concentrations. And then fats, so these are nonpolar. So fats are generally insoluble in water and are transported in structures called lipoproteins. Um, and yeah, cholesterol is required for synthesis of many biological important molecules, and it also requires lipoproteins to be transported in the blood. Now, oxygen is also nonpolar, but it could still be transported in the blood due to its small size. So it's transported, it binds to a hormone called hemoglobin, and it transports. which transports the oxygen. Then we have sodium chloride. So, as an ionic compound, the sodium chloride is transported in blood in the form of their constituent ions, and they are easily dissolved in water. Now, the thermal properties of water and methane. So, water and methane, they both have covalent bonds, but methane has four hydrogen bonds, hydrogen atoms bonded to one carbon atom, uh, instead of two hydrogen and one oxygen. Methane has four hydrogen and one carbon. So methane is nonpolar, which gives it different properties than water. And methane has overall lower everything. So lower boiling point, lower melting point, lower specific heat capacity, and latent heat of vaporization.